We'll begin by aligning our posture. And as we discussed and maybe explored, how we sit so that our body is stable, rooted, centered, open, and elevated. You can start off, just take a little bit of time, take a few minutes, and explore this point of stable. And explore how to sit with a stable base. And actually shift your posture, maybe move a millimeter or a foot one way or another. Is our base stable right now? What happens if we move it? Is it more stable? Is it less stable? And explore how to sit with a stable base. And of course, this is a training, and so the point isn't so much to always sit with the stablest base we know how to sit with, but to constantly be exploring. Find out, what is it like? How can I sit with an unstable base? How can I sit with a stable base? These are actually the same question. Explore this question. Try this, try that. Find out. Since the last thing I said, I've just tried 6 different ways of sitting with a stable base. Adjusted my feet slightly in a few different ways and shifted my right leg a little bit. And constant exploration. Constantly making little adjustments this way and that. Getting constantly and ongoingly curious about and interested in our body and in how it is that our base can be stable or unstable. Next, we'll explore how to root the tailbone into that base. Maybe we tuck it under slightly, or maybe we're a little too far slouched, and so we move it forward and into the center. It can help to actually use your hand so that you can feel where your tailbone is. See what it's like if it's too far forward, too far back. Maybe notice if you like the impact of a rooted tailbone on your stable base, or an unrooted tailbone on your base. Typically, this process will look like a lot of trying different stuff, flailing around until at some point it actually falls into place. It's as though you're just falling into a stable base, rooted tailbone. You can't help it. You're settling in. You can't get there at the point of just effortlessly falling into a lying posture by thinking about it, by wishing it'll happen, praying for it, and actually adjust your posture. actually go through this exploration, actually fail in many different ways, actually explore. And as you're ready, you can begin to explore the point of centered center. How to sit at the center of our bodies, in the center. We are balanced. Again, if you like, you can rock forward and back, side to side. Explore all the little joints and pieces of your spine, with many vertebrae, and many muscles, even organs involved in this. How can all of this be centered and balanced? As Autumn said, the experience of chi, of energy, is available. You can explore using that. Use that to align your posture. If it's unavailable, if that sounds confusing and weird, then don't worry about it. Just explore. Just explore aligning your posture. And again, it isn't so much about doing it perfectly right. What's happening for you is that you're sitting with an unstable base, uprooted tailbone, and off-kilter center. This is time well spent. You're learning about your body, learning about this posture. This is a process that we're going through. This is how we explore. This is how we learn. This is how we train. And in your own time, you can move up into the heart, the solar plexus. How to sit with an open heart. For many of us, again, we have this tendency to sink in and collapse, and so we may explore exaggerating this one. Bring your heart way farther forward enough than you think you should, and keep it there for a little while. And then come back from there to something that's more natural and balanced. Many of you can move your heart forward by about 6 inches or more. You can try that out if you like. As you do this, of course, attending to the rest of your body, your posture, ensuring that your tailbone hasn't come unrooted. There's a point of tension between these 2 points. Our heart wants to open, our tailbone wants to come up. As our tailbone wants to root, our heart wants to collapse. And so we find this little bit of tension. It isn't about forcing it or making it tight, but just having a little bit of tension, like a rubber band stretched a little bit between these 2 points. Part of the significance of this is that this creates room for a breath. Opens up our belly so that there's more room for the breath to fill our belly, massaging our whole body on each inhale and each exhale. Many of us, we may have gotten used to sitting with this collapsed belly, strained breath. Often because there are sensations in our viscera, in our core, that we don't want to feel, that we've been avoiding. Trauma, emotional pain, it's stuck, it's become stuck. And so as we start to open this, it may feel wrong, it may feel like we're having the wrong experience. But we may bring forth faith and explore what happens if I open this up anyway? What happens if I allow my belly to move? If I allow my breath to move? Being willing to have whatever experience arises. Trusting that if that experience is painful, challenging, difficult, that's the experience I showed up for today. That's the experience I came here to have today. And if this spaciousness is wonderful, enjoyable, pleasant, you can feel the wind, the breath flowing through our body. Again, trusting that that's the experience we came here to have today. And finally, ensuring, exploring, the top of our head, top of our spine is elevated. Body growing up towards the sky naturally, supported by the breath. Body sinking down into the earth naturally, supported by the earth. And having established this posture, magnificent, exultant, having done this exploration with courage, faith, interest, we'll now practice using this body and this breath, which for now we'll just say is the breath that comes when we sit with these 5 points established. We'll clarify more detail later. Using this body and breath, we will move through, work with what in Buddhism is called the 5 hindrances. This is not meant to be some kind of ontology or description of everything. It's just a practical list. It's a handy device, memory device for making use of it during practice. We'll associate each of these hindrances with one of the points of posture. And starting now, as we're dealing with our mind, at the top. We'll check again, is our posture elevated? Is the top of our spine elevated? And we'll associate this point in the body with the hindrance of craving or want or covetousness for sense experiences. We'll just work with and purify any sense of covetousness, of want, of wishing for some sort of sensory experience. So for example, if we're sitting here and we're thinking about food, imagining lunch, how much lunch is going to make us happy, how good the food will taste in our mouths. Or maybe we're imagining a particular piece of technology that we want, a cell phone, computer, or a person. Maybe we want some person to be in our sensory experience. Or if we're sitting here and we want some kind of state of mind, some kind of experience, want to be feeling a certain way, to be thinking a certain thing or not thinking anything. All of that is want. All of that is the covetousness hindrance. And we will use this body and breath to purify that. To purify it means that we see it clearly as it is. We see this is want. We see, I want this thing right now. I'm sitting here practicing, and the thing that I'm attending to is that I want this thing. We at least see that clearly. Seeing that clearly, we may even take a further step and explore how to overcome that, how to purify that, how to subdue it, how to disable it. We directly explore that. For example, we can explore using the breath, breathing in a way that is energetic and relaxed, attending to the breath so that we forget about that want. There are countless ways of purifying, working with each of these hindrances. I won't go into much detail right now. But for now, we'll just explore using the breath and body and this direct mindfulness of each hindrance. Seeing when it's present and seeing when it's absent. And at this moment, you don't want anything in particular. You want hindrances not currently active at this moment. Notice that as well. Further, we may notice that when the want hindrance is absent, there's a kind of relief in that. I really wanted that thing, but I just forgot to want it, and that actually felt better. I actually had a taste of relief in that moment of just forgetting to want the thing, just not wanting the thing for a moment. And pay close attention to that. Anytime during the sit, you're welcome to shift posture, take care of your body as you need to. Continue through the remainder of the hindrances without a gap in practice, so please take care of your body and shift posture as appropriate for you. As appropriate for where you are right now. And next we'll move into our heart. Again, let's check, see if it's open, see its current state of openness. And investigate, explore the question of whether there is any sense right now of hatred, of ill will, of the wish for the ill, or the suffering, or for the non-existence of any living being. That includes, of course, any of the people in our life. It includes our own self. If we wish ill to ourselves, for example, we feel like I should be ashamed right now. Wish for ourselves to feel shame, to feel bad. Wish other people would change, would go away, would feel bad. Wish they'd feel a little bit of shame over that thing that they did. Or we wish for any being anywhere in the universe to go away, to suffer. All of this is the hindrance of hatred, of ill will. And again, we'll explore purifying that hindrance. And again, the first piece of this is simply to notice whether that's happening. Notice that ill will is present. Perhaps even notice that it is unpleasant, that it hurts. When it's a burden, directly notice that. Very commonly it's the case that we try to use ill will to do the practice. We hate ourselves into attending to a focus space. And yet we pay careful attention to this and we notice that that's just disabling us. The cycle of hating ourselves and then feeling bad and we don't have energy to do the practice, and we hate ourselves and we feel bad and we don't have the energy to do the practice. And we see this cycle repeating again and again. It can take great faith to try to do something else here. Try to go in any other direction than that. But we may nonetheless try. Try just breathing, just sitting. Just something that isn't that cycle. Something that isn't that ill will, that hatred. Noticing its absence, we may taste a sense of relief, a sense of joy in that. Moving now into the core, center of the body. We'll associate this point with the hindrance of anxiety, of restlessness, of worry about what we did, what we will do, even about what we're doing. This hindrance of anxiety, of restlessness is a sense of a constant, oh no, constant freak out. Oh, I did that thing, I shouldn't do that thing. Oh no, I didn't do the thing, I forgot to do the thing. Oh no, I'm going to do the thing. Am I going to remember to do the thing? Oh no, what if I don't do the thing? I can't do that thing. Or, oh no, I'm doing the thing, or I'm not doing the thing. I'm not focused. I'm focused. All this freak out, all this anxiety, all this worry. Again, just notice, is that happening in our experience? Are we freaking out right now? In our experience, is there freak out? And notice that freak out, and we may notice that again, it's like a burden. It's a heavy weight on top of us that has us shackled, chained to it, constantly having to serve this anxiety, having to think about the thing it wants us to think about, do the thing it wants us to do, not do the thing it doesn't want us to do. It's all maintained by this frenetic and basically untrustworthy energy. And again, making use of our body and breath. See if it's possible to move beyond it, to pacify it, to purify it. extent that happens, even if there's just a brief gap, half a second or something. See if there isn't a kind of joy, a kind of relief to be found in that, in being free from that master, for even one moment. Very good. And moving into the tailbone, sacrum, checking again that our posture is rooted and it hasn't come unrooted in the exploration we've done. We'll tend to and work with the hindrance of sloth and torpor, dullness, drowsiness, being stuck in a rut, stuck in the mud. It has two aspects. There's the aspect of falling asleep, having a hard time staying awake, not having any energy to do the practice. There's also the aspect of kind of rigidity, it's like your mind is just stuck in a rut and you're trying the same thing again and again, even though it's not working. Having experience and you try covetousness and ill will, and that didn't work, so you try covetousness and ill will, and that didn't work, so you try covetousness and ill will. That didn't work, so you try covetousness and ill will. That didn't work, so you try covetousness and ill will. Minutes, hours pass. There's the aspect of torpor, of stuckness. And again, using our body and breath, somehow, if it's possible, to wriggle out of that, to overcome that, to shake it off, to snap out of it. I'm here again. I was trapped, I was stuck, forgot, couldn't do anything. Now I'm back, free. It's as though I was in prison and I now can go anywhere I want. Again, notice the kind of relief, the kind of joy, the kind of happiness that is available in that. And finally, returning to our base, the lowest part of our body. Ensure that that base is still stable, or adjust it if necessary. And investigate, attend to the hindrance of what in Buddhism is often translated as skeptical doubt. This shallow, intellectual doubt, an endless philosophical speculation is not the same thing as true doubt, as real doubt, as really needing an answer to a real question. That's not the kind of doubt we're referring to right now. This is, on the contrary, a way of holding everything away at arm's length. You say, I don't know if the 5 hindrances really matter. That seems kind of arbitrary. There's not really any point in that. And who's Jōshin anyway? He was kind of a mess earlier in the day, and the other day he did that thing. I don't think he's really embodying the practice right. Actually, I don't know if I can do the practice. You know what I should do, actually, is just leave and maybe start a company. That would be nice. All of that. That's all doubt. You're manufacturing a lack of clarity. That's shallow doubt. So again, using faith, purify doubt. And faith that this experience, as it is already the right one. Don't need to figure it out. Don't need to get a different one. In particular, notice that this is doubt. You're having the experience of doubt, then notice that you're having the experience of doubt. And this is kind of an easy one, because in this case, at that moment, you are no longer experiencing doubt. You are now completely clear about having the experience of doubt. So, enjoy it. There isn't a sense of relief when seeing, doubt. In my own training, doubt was both the most trustworthy seeming of the hindrances. The thing I put the most faith in, and also the maybe most important to overcome. The most important hindrance to cut through, to cut off, to see clearly and see beyond. Many of us in this culture worship doubt. You can call it having good epistemic hygiene or something. Many different ways of venerating doubt. And as long as we're sitting there doubting, in my experience anyway, we just won't get anywhere. We'll use that doubt to avoid our lives. Cutting that off, experiencing clarity regarding that doubt, regarding its nature, we become vulnerable. And the experience that we most want to avoid. And yet, is the only way I know of to actually